This is getting to be a very, very substantially sized business. If we take a look at the chart that I've sort of put together by Googling all of the clues about their financials, it looks like in 2017, they said they had 2.6 billion in revenue. And additionally, they had about 100 million in profits as well in 2017, despite the fact they were growing rapidly. So back to that point I was saying, unlike WeWork and Uber, Airbnb's business is actually profitable. Like they're actually making money from a cash flow perspective while they're growing, not burning as much. This is why they haven't raised as much. This is why I think it's just frankly a much, much better business. And when you're looking at this revenue here, keep in mind that this is their cut of the listing. This isn't the net amount of revenue they're taking. You know, when you book a room for $100, let's say, this is like the 20% that Airbnb gets. This is very high margin software revenue, and that's why I think it's going to command a very, very high multiple when it hits the public markets. But anyway, 2018, I estimated about 3.8 billion in revenue based on that 1 billion Q3 and just some other stuff I Googled. For 2019, I'm expecting 5.4 billion, which comes out to an average of 1.35 billion per quarter, which might be a little bit high, but I think that's, you know, just who knows how much they mean when they say substantially over $1 billion in revenue. So this is all guesswork until we actually see their filings, of course, but I wanted to try my best and guess. Then I have them scaling to 7.5 billion, then to 10 billion by 2021. If we slap some growth rates on there, I think this will give you a better context on actually just how fast the business is growing. I sort of assume a slow kind of decline in the growth rate. And I do want to say that this is, you know, I have them getting to 10 billion revenue in 2021. This is almost all the hosting business. Yes, in 2016, they launched experiences, which are now 40,000 experiences in 1,000 cities. I think is going to be a huge, huge growth avenue for the company. It's not just about where you stay when you travel, but it's about what you do. I think it's an equally huge market for them to attack that is going to be growing on the back burner, is already growing on the back burner, but isn't very meaningful financially, but will be. And so I think this is basically assuming that the hosting business is really the bread and butter and the other things don't really take off. But I think, you know, experience is going to be the first next thing to take off for Airbnb. After that, I see huge, huge potential for them to get into things like restaurants, food, not only what you do when you're traveling, but where you eat. It's so hard to find good restaurants that are authentic, that are local. Imagine if you had Airbnb for restaurants, Mini Moonshot Monday. What if you had like Airbnb launch this service where I have this dope, you know, I live in a little town in Italy. I make lunch for people. I have 10 spots for lunch every day. I can put it up. It's like a restaurant, but it's actually in my home. I get to cook these amazing home cooked meals. I'm probably charging way less than a restaurant for a way more authentic experience, for way better food, for a chance to these people to interact with a local, not go to some, you know, place that was recommended on TripAdvisor. Like I think there's huge, huge potential to do what they do to the hotel industry and totally dismantle that and do the exact same thing to the restaurant industry and travel. And so beyond experiences, where you stay, what you do, what you eat, these are three huge windows of opportunity that I think Airbnb is going to get into. And then another moonshot that I think Airbnb should do in the long term, I actually put out an official Moonshot Monday about this a year and 2 years ago. They should buy an airline, merge with an airline, or figure out a way to go more vertical in the travel experience. Think about the pain points when you're booking a trip, which airline, how to get from the airport to where you're staying, usually the Airbnb. I think this is where Airbnb is going to use capital from their public offering to expand into. We're going to see them basically get into the airline business or flights business somehow. Like there's so much friction. Going to the airport sucks. It's so inconvenient. There's so many different services I have to use. It's a huge pain point in the entire like experience of me going abroad. Probably the biggest reason people don't travel is the friction of going to the airport, the pain of getting there, the hassle, the cost, the not pleasantness of that experience. If Airbnb can change that, not only is that a huge business, not only is that going to make travel way more fun, but it's going to make more people want to travel and expand their whole end business of travel. So when I think long term about where this is going, yes, this excites me getting to 10 billion in revenue in 2021, but this is fundamentally reshaping how humans travel and experience different cultures and the way they experience those different cultures. And I think this is a huge, huge business that's not going away. The bigger humanity gets, the more connected we get, the more we're going to want to travel, the bigger and more relevant the company that can facilitate those experiences is going to be. And I see that as being Airbnb.